ようこそどうぞはじめまして
Hello everyone, welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. And this is actually episode 69. I'm pausing for the nice guys. Give me a nice.
Nice.
N-I-C-E.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know where the renaissance of 69 came from, because I feel like even like 5 years ago.
You mean specifically saying nice or the term 69?
The whole thing, because like, look, I remember like making 69 nice jokes in like high school, and that was like 10, 15 years ago, and then it fell out of vogue, like,
and it came back
in the 2010s, and then suddenly it came back, and it's like,
I'm sure it's Twitter's fault or something.
I don't know. This is just like, is this our example of millennial nostalgia? Like, I remember the days of making 69 jokes back in 2008.
Yeah, it's that in 420, right? But that's the only joke we have time for, because we have a lot of things to talk about on this episode.
Boy, do we!
It is going to be our season preview episode.
Yay.
So, and it looks like anime is back after a lot of cuts and delays from due to the COVID situation for last season. It's mostly back this season. There's pretty much the normal number of shows, so quite a bit to cover. I cut a lot off the list, so we are going to talk about just kind of the more notable ones that are notable to us anyway. But before we get started, let's introduce everybody. I'm Jel, and I am joined by Iro.
Still here. Not dead yet.
Not on fire either, apparently.
Not yet.
Getting dangerously close, unfortunately. But
I wouldn't say dangerously close, but if I go outside, I'll breathe bad stuff.
Yeah, that's not coronavirus. It's even more bad stuff to worry about.
Yay.
Jesus Christ. All right, and we're also joined by G.
The entire city of LA is currently just the embodiment of "This is fine, dog." Just
you got the. Are you guys actually getting like the orange skies and everything?
Not really. Yeah, like I would say compared to the Bay Area, which is north of here, LA never got it as bad. Like, yes, we definitely got the unearthly yellow hue, but it never reached
the Blade Runner levels.
Yeah, never quite Blade Runner levels, at least.
Right.
But
although that does not mean it's safe to breathe air. So
certainly not. So stay indoors, kids.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's no good transition out of that one, I suppose.
Stay indoors and watch bad anime, kids.
Yay.
Yes. While you're inside sheltering from the world burning around you, you can check out the world of anime burning around you, I suppose.
Never stopped.
Yep. So fall 2020 season. We're gonna do our normal preview. Like I said, we don't usually cover all the shows because that would take way too long. Just ones that we've kind of picked that we feel like are worth talking about on the podcast. So if we missed anything that you're interested in, you can yell at us later. But let's go ahead and get started. We'll dive into some of the returning shows, including a very strange pattern I noticed with some of these shows coming back. I feel like we're getting in a time machine back to 2007 with some of the shows that are going to be happening next season. So let's talk about a couple of those, and we'll start with, of all things, Higurashi When They Cry. You guys remember that?
I remember I watched this in high school, then I had to we had to write scary stories for English class for Halloween, and I just said I'll just write the plot of Higurashi, and because I don't have the energy for this.
Did that go over well? Did you get a good grade on that paper?
I did. The teacher didn't fucking know what the hell was going on.
Of course not. That's brilliant, actually. Yeah. So Higurashi, of course, being the psychological horror classic.
Sure.
I think you mean the origin of an entire subgenre of early 2000s era reaction faces.
Oh yeah, there was that.
True.
I feel like
Yeah.
that is the primary legacy of Higurashi from the perspective of someone who never watched it. Is boy, there sure are a lot of funny anime faces in this show that people love to post as reactions to things.
I also never watched it, but picked up a lot of it through cultural osmosis, like the reaction faces. So,
and the crossover episode with Last Period.
Yes, and the hilarious crossover episode with Gacha game adaptation Last Period, where they thought it would be funny to say that their big collaboration event was with Higurashi, which was completely out of left field. But anyway,
that's why it was funny.
So in all seriousness, like, what actually is this? Is this a remake?
So this is a remake.
Okay.
It is a remake. So
When
they're
they cried
redoing
Brotherhood.
it's all new staff and everything, of course, and they've updated the look, which is probably my biggest. Well, I guess it was always a weird thing with Higurashi, how it's like very cute and colorful characters. But I guess maybe that's part of the.
I think that's always been intentionally part of it,
Yeah.
right? Is like that's part of the subversion. It's aha, look at this like lolly. Now she got a knife.
Because this one they got Akio. What's his full name here? The guy who did the Monogatari anime character designs and a bunch of other VN designs, which tend to lean more on the fun and colorful than, psychological horror. But again,
right, but I mean, that was the
part
original
of the
Higurashi as well, right? So
part of the whole point of it, and so hey, I guess if you missed it I think that was actually 2006, so I was kind of stretching it on my date here, but
I mean, a lot of these shows that are on this are frankly.
I think season 2 was 07, so
yeah,
almost,
within that range of
I would argue
mid-2000s.
most of the shows in our 2007 block did not all air in 2007.
who gives a shit?
They're in that we were still talking about them in 2007.
Yes, they is the relevant time period. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of interesting. I mean, it's like I'm not personally interested in it, but it is,
It'll be something to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is like a new thing now. Like we had what was it, Fruits Basket recently, and shows like that coming back.
I mean,
we're getting like early to mid 2000s revival.
Yeah, it's a little frightening to think about the passage of time like that. But yes, I think we are now entering the era when people are going to get nostalgic about the 2000s era of anime, right? Like,
right.
It's that's kind of where we are now, right? Like,
so
yeah, just give it another couple years, and we'll get the remake of hit 2005 anime Fate's Day Night.
Iroh, I keep saying it's inevitable they're gonna redo the Fate
I mean, like you're
at some
joking,
time.
Iroh, but like honestly, even without Fate Go, even if Fate Go had never blown up the way it did, I would have bet money on a Fate's Day Night remake eventually because,
right?
I mean, look, UFO Table needs to put. They need to pay. They got to pay their bills and not pay their taxes.
They got Demon Slayer. They got their new cash cow.
When's the 20-year anniversary of Fate's Day Night? Is what, like 2024 or something?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to wait till 2024 and do it to remake.
I mean, 2024 is not that long off.
I don't know. That's long enough. I feel like UFO Table's like, we got money to burn. We got to keep hustling. I mean, we can only get away with doing these Heaven's Feels movies for so long.
I mean, yeah, it's because they're done.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting way off track here, but
yeah.
So that's one of our weird throwback shows. Also, did not expect an Inuyasha sequel in 2020, but Yashahime, Princess Half Demon.
Inuyasha stan, G.
Not really, no. But Inuyasha is an institution,
I guess.
Yeah. The only thing I think of as my only memories of Inuyasha is that was my reminder to turn the TV off when that was airing at like 3 a.m. on Cartoon Network. I was like, oh, Inuyasha's running back. It's time for me to go to bed.
I also remember there was one dude I spoke to who always got confused with Yu Yu Hakusho because they both have a U in the title. And I was like, you're an idiot. Yu Yu Hakusho is better than this shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Inuyasha wasn't like bad. I guess
know,
it was just not like
the worst thing you could say about Inuyasha is that Inuyasha was a show that was very much a product of its time. So very character driven with lots and lots of filler, right? Like the very basic premise of Inuyasha, right? We got to collect the shards of the stone, the magical stone, and the magical stone got shattered into like 100 pieces. Means that like you could keep that format running for an extremely long time. You know, just like we heard the rumors of another shard of the magical stone in this village. Yep. And that could be its own 1-2 episode adventure.
And as these Kais only gotten more popular, it just makes sense to bring back Inuyasha.
I mean, that's the same thing. I guess, it is a classic isekai, right? The girl falls down a well and ends up in feudal Japan.
So this one, I guess they're going the Boruto route of everybody's kids as the new stars of the show.
Sure.
But so that's happening.
Right.
So, wait, is this a TV series, an OVA? Like, what is...
I believe it's a TV series.
Okay, sure. That's interesting, I guess. Like, I guess when I first heard about it, I don't think they announced what specific format it was airing in at the time, so...
Yeah, I mean, I will admit I did not go very deep on my research on this one, but I'm pretty sure it's actually just a TV series.
It is TV, yeah.
Okay. I mean, of all the things in our 2007 blog, I would actually argue that maybe because of the Western anime fan experience, this is potentially not the one I'm necessarily looking forward to, but I think observing from a distance is the one that is maybe the most interesting, just because, like, I'd be real curious how a modern Western audience reacts to Inuyasha, right? Like, it's been a long time since those days of watching it at 2 a.m. on, Adult Swim. Like, it's...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and this is a brand new story. I don't know if it's the same writer and staff and all that, but who knows if it's even going to be how similar it's even going to be. But I mean, that's a big Inuyasha is a big name, I think, for American fandom because it was such a staple of that like Adult Swim era.
Yeah.
So
does any modern mangaka have like more hits than Rumiko Takahashi?
I mean,
she's doing well for herself.
She's consistent, right? Like that's the main thing. I mean, I would not say I love all of her works, but
she had that. What's that other one?
Ranma?
Renee. Well, Ranma half, of course, but Renee was the other. What was it called? Like R-I-N-A.
Yeah.
That one was all right.
And what, like,
I mean, that's how I feel about
and all that.
That's how I kind of feel about all of her stuff. They're all solid, but like, I'm not super personally excited about it. But anyway, that's another big name. This was actually a shocking reminder to me on how old Strike Witches is, because Strike Witches is coming back, and that's actually from around 2007, 2008.
Killing me here.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely like...
if any of you kids out there don't know what Strike Witches is, it's essentially the ancestor of like Kantai Collection in Azure.
Right, like I mean that's the thing, right? Like the more interesting thing to talk about with Strike Witches is what it inspired, right? Like Strike Witches is the original girl anthropomorphized like or vehicle
World War II era vehicle anthropomorphization.
Wait, so are they all anthropomorphized?
No, they're not actually.
But like they're not actually, but like it is the same like
in
concept.
Practice, right? In practice, it's basically the same thing.
Except I always knew about Strike Witches was they fly with this leg armor thing, and that means they have to have their panties out.
Yeah, they can't wear pants, so that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
It is more overtly pervy than some of its descendants.
Like let's not get it twisted. Like Strike Witches is exactly what it looks like. It's just it's interesting to bring that back because like Strike Witches came out before that. Like Strike Witches aired before they could capitalize on that sort of thing, right? Like if Strike Witches had come out even a few years later, it would have been a gacha mobile game, right? Like.
Right.
It would have been the sort of thing where it's like, I got to roll for my 5-star so-and-so. And
yeah. I mean, I've never heard anybody mention direct inspiration to, the later games, but I mean, it makes sense. I'm sure they're aware of, I mean, there's no way they could have made those games and not been aware of this, I think. But, so, anyway, That's a thing that's happening.
Yeah, another show that I would say...
Strike Witch's Road to Berlin. Again, the weird World War II
Yeah, I mean, look,
things.
I have not heard a ton about Strike Witches, but my understanding is that, like many a Japanese work, weirdly, Axis powers sympathetic / leaning work in terms of its...
Yeah, if I recall, Strike Witches does not get much into it at all, but it's still there, right? I mean,
yes,
that's the backdrop. That's the backdrop they chose. But
yep.
All right, and then finally we'll mention Tonikaku Kawaii, or as Crunchyroll is calling it, Tonikawa Over the Moon for You, which is, I guess, apparently some kind of relation or spin-off to Hayate the Combat Butler, if anybody remembers that show. Also from around that 2007, mid-2000s era.
Never
I feel like that's
watched it, but...
I feel like that's one of those things that was like insanely popular and then just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it.
Because that show was really popular.
Yeah, I mean, I remember...
I think it had like 3 or 4 seasons or something like that. Like,
I definitely remember, like, during that time period, like, you could not walk 10 feet in any direction in any anime forum / community without like running into it in some form or another, right? Like, you hear the name, you see the characters, right? It's definitely emblematic of that time period, right? Like, it burned white hot for like a couple years, and then like just, I mean, in many ways it kind of reminds me of Demon Slayer, to be honest, right? Like a show that just suddenly blows up in popularity, like far beyond.
Oh, have people dropped off Demon Slayer yet though, or
I mean, Demon Slayer ended, so like.
But I mean, like, popularity-wise.
No, I mean, obviously, Demon Slayer is going to get many more anime adaptations that will all be very popular. But what I mean is a similar deal, like, you know, Hayate, right? Of, like, it's going to be wildly popular for a few years, and then, you know, no one's going to be talking about it.
You're predicting it's going to disappear.
Oh, yeah, totally. Right. I mean, like...
Flash in the pan, yeah. Well, this one in particular, I mean, we should give it its proper due in that it's not Hayate the Combat Butler. It's its own story.
Sure.
Something about some guy that's...
It's like a rom-com thing.
Rom-com that this guy marries this girl so that that's the only way she'll be his girlfriend or something, is if they get married.
Something like that.
That sounds like a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I've read the manga because I was extremely bored a few months ago, and it is totally inconsequential in every way.
So just normal anime rom-com, whatever.
It didn't seem particularly gross, but it's...
Alright, well, that's something.
It exists. My resounding recommendation here of...
You still fucking read it.
You didn't underestimate how the things I will do when I'm bored.
In a world where Dorohedoro is finished, in a world where Golden Kamuy is approaching its climax, in a world where Chainsaw Man gets better and stranger and more depressing with every passing week, you read this to completion.
Oh, hey, it's still going.
Okay, well...
Hey, man, no judgment here. I have no room to talk. So, all right, so...
We all know I have shit taste.
Okay, so moving along to the present day, on some other notable returning shows, we have Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Season 3. Still is, yes. Also known as Danmachi, in case anyone just says that's how you know it as. But, yeah, I never know why particular isekai shows get popular more so than others, but this one...
it's not isekai.
Oh, yes it is.
It's better than all the other shows because it's not isekai.
It's actual correct. It's correct organization factor. As you call it, I believe it's called soft isekai.
Okay, whatever the term is, fake video game anime, fantasy anime, whatever. I don't know why this one is more popular than others, but it is.
Because the waifu's got the big boobs, but she's tiny.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not the only one that has that.
Well,
but,
anyways, moving on.
Yes, moving on. Another big one coming back is Haikyu. Again, I underestimate how popular this show is sometimes. But it
Haikyu
is
is super
actually
fucking popular.
Isn't this Shonen Jump's current big sports series?
I mean, it just
it's
ended,
like one. It's like one of the most.
Right. It did just end.
Yeah.
That's right. Jump
It's
lost
like-
3 big properties in like
Oh yeah,
a month.
Jump lost quite a few big properties these last couple months for some reason or another.
Oof, yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've sort of been like half thinking like, should I watch Haikyu? Like, is this something I'm supposed like as the sports anime guy? Like, am I supposed to? Be
Just for your
watching this?
knowledge of.
Yeah, because like it's such a big deal, and like I have heard from people that I mean I don't necessarily always trust their takes, but I've heard from enough people that they genuinely like Haikyu. I'll put it this way: these people liked Haikyu and did not like Kuro no Basket, so like it's
that's
not like
interesting.
it's not like they just indiscriminately consume all sports anime. Like they
Well,
had their...
Isn't Haikyu a little more like realistic though? They're not like. Does Haikyu have snake shots?
I'm sure it has some degree of that because all Shonen Jump sports anime do, but like I don't know.
Because it's most like, isn't it like it's mostly popular with like women, right? Because it's like
I mean, cute boys always is, right? Like
right, but it's like a good volleyball boys show.
yeah, I mean,
more
like
so
I
than,
won't lie, like I think I arrived
more so
at the
than like a
conclusion-
hot-blooded snake shot type.
Yeah, I arrived at the
sports show.
unfortunate conclusion that I probably would have actually watched Haikyu if it had been about any other sport than men's volleyball. Like if you want to talk about a sport that I am literally incapable of getting excited for, it's volleyball. But I heard enough people be like, no, it's actually like legit, and I was like,
What about women's volleyball, G?
well, that's a different. That's a different story, all right.
So I do have a story about Haikyu. Rather, it is a story related to Haikyu, but does not actually involve Haikyu. I've met a number of people who told me Haikyu was a good show, but at the time, every time they said Haikyu, I thought they were talking about TQ.
Very
that, like-
different. Very
Which
different.
is like
That-
a fucking insipid idol show or whatever, right?
Oh no, I think
and
it's like it was like a comedy short with like soft tennis or something.
I don't know,
right?
but I was
Yeah.
always like, you like that? All right,
No, this is very different.
okay.
I mean, also Haikyu's what was it? Wait, its soundtrack is done by someone I care about, right? I'm trying to remember. Is it?
It's Yuki
feel like-
Hayashi.
It is. It's Yuki Hayashi, right? So like, like. Maybe I should. I don't know. I feel like it's too late to start now, but there's a part of me that's always thought, like, if I can get past the volleyball part, like, maybe I'd actually enjoy this. I mean, I love anime about baseball, and baseball is, like, as boring a sport as you can get, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, it's like one of the most popular things, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about it. All right.
Sure.
Less exciting, at least from our perspective. The return of the Irregular Magic High School, or aka Mahoka.
Oh, you mean...
It's actually been like 6 or 7 years since this aired, but it's coming back for season 3. In my opinion, this may be, if not the worst, it's in the conversation for worst of like the power fantasy light novel trash.
Yeah, you beat me to it, Jill. I feel like Mahoka has always had the reputation of being the most egregious, the most blatant, the most like...
I mean, it's on top of, the normal, bad things. It's basically an Ayn Rand novel, right? Like it's it's like
not engaged enough with season 1 to be able to tell for
you're
sure.
the main guy is like the emotionless objective asshole who's perfect and good at everything, and everyone wants to bear
Right,
his
I
children,
mean,
including his sister.
I feel like this show was like emblematic
great.
of that time period of light novel adaptation of just like pure like mask off, not even like barely like concealed in its messages about how, you know what, there are just some people who are better than others, and it is their responsibility to safeguard and uphold society, because they're just your betters. They're just better than you, and
Yep.
but also he's secretly the worst or something, right? Like,
Well,
they somehow
yeah, so because he doesn't have he doesn't have like real magic powers
Right,
like
they somehow
everybody
managed to
else.
include that trope too.
Right. So they've got all the normal bad things about these kinds of shows, but then you add the extra layer of politics to it, or whatever you want to call it, that are pretty gross. So yeah, not watching that show. Moving along to well, Golden Kamuy's coming back again, G.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it at this point, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have not kept up with Golden Kamuy, the anime, in the slightest. After how traumatizing season 1 was for me. I mean, as I have famously stated, I literally have lost sleep over how bad Golden Kamuy's adaptation was. Like, it scarred me that deeply. So I have not kept up with the anime at all. My understanding is that once they got away from, because eventually, I will say, Golden Kamuy does eventually reach a point where they stop fighting native wildlife so much. Like, it's been quite a while since the last time they fought a bear in Golden Kamuy. So, like, now that the conflict has mostly shifted to human on human, it has become adequate, if not particularly exceptional.
Is that the long way of saying there's no CG bears left anymore?
Without there being any animals, that it is just now it's just poorly animated people instead of awful, horrible, egregious CG animals.
Right.
And it's a shame that I can't get more excited, because I watched the PV for Golden Kamuy Season 3, and this is actually covering, like, a very strong section of the story. Like, if it is following what the PVs are indicating, then Season 2 ended on a very climactic, like, status quo change. And Season 3 is kind of the beginning of, like, a new status quo for the show of sorts. Like, alliances have shifted, people have teamed up with other people, with former enemies. Like, there are new character dynamics at play now. There's a lot of good stuff coming up in this upcoming season, Like, I don't even need to, like, describe them. I can just say... I don't even need to get into detail. I can just describe them, and they already sound great. Like, Golden Kamuy, they joined the circus arc. Golden Kamuy, they get into bare-chested, they get into shirtless, bare-knuckle fist fights with Russians arc. Golden Kamuy, they hunt a Wolverine arc. Like, this is like Golden Kamuy,
There's
Sugimoto.
some, like, ice skating shit.
Yes, there's ice skating, there's acrobatics,
Yuri on Ice arc.
Yes, right. This is the naked all male
Like
hot
Yaoi
sauna
on
arc.
Ice.
Like this is an arc in which a lot of really fun, dumb shit happens with characters that you would have written off as, like, one-note villains in earlier seasons or chapters of the story, and it's a shame that I can't get excited for it because the anime adaptation's so bad. So
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people have loved the anime regardless of the technical quality, maybe just on the strength of the story, I guess.
yeah,
but
I mean, I will say, like, the aspects of that show that were admittedly strong even back then seem like they're still strong. Like, their voice casting continues to be really solid. They cast some really great actors for the roles.
I don't know if, like, not reading the manga first has some makes some difference on expectations or whatever, but I think there are plenty of people who still liked it. So, yeah,
Good
I guess
for
that
them.
keeps I guess that keeps plugging along. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed it even got this many seasons, right? Like, it's like, let's be real, guys. Like, does Golden Kamuy sound like the fucking show that gets, like, this?
I mean, the manga is pretty popular though, right? Like,
yeah, but, like, I feel like this has sort of existed that same weird, like territory as, like, a Wave Listen to Me or something of, like, oh, the adaptation gets, like, one season and then that's the last you ever hear of it. But I don't know.
General Studios gotta keep the lights on somehow.
Yeah, apparently.
all right. So I guess in a recurring theme for this segment, another show that's extremely popular, and I have no idea why. Is the Order of Rabbit season 3 happening?
I know nothing
again?
about this.
It's
the
like
bunny
a
girl
cute
one.
Yeah, it's like cute girls running a cafe or something. And again, I have no idea why this of all the cute girl shows is extremely popular, but I mean, it's getting a season 3, so I mean, that's an indication to you that how popular it is.
I don't think I've even heard of this show before now.
So that's happening. I don't really have much more to say about that one. And then finally,
oh boy,
Osomatsu-san's coming back for season 3.
Boy, cool. Because season 2 was such a
Yeah,
I mean that's the best you can say about Osomatsu-san these days.
Yeah. It's been big diminishing returns on Osomatsu. Because season 1 was fantastic. Absolutely love season 1. And then something like at least outside of Japan, I feel like the phenomena has died down completely on it. And season 2 was like fine, but it was like so, I don't know. It was just like, I feel like we've done everything we need to do.
Season 2 had 2 good episodes. Season 2 had 2 good episodes. It's the first episode and the one with what's his name?
The Iyami City Lights episode.
Yes, the Iyami City Lights episode. That's basically just
Charlie Chaplin.
That's just Majima Yakuza 0. But
right. I would shout out the Jushimatsu Dolphin song.
That was also good.
Which was also good.
All right, fine. There's probably more than just 2 good episodes.
The thing is, like, season 2 only had 1 writer, I think, and season 1 had multiple writers. And I think for something that's like a sketch comedy, you really want multiple writers.
Yeah,
I did not check all the staff on this one. It is mostly, I think, returning staff on season 3. It's still Yoichi Fujita directing. All right. Hashtag free Yoichi Fujita. So we're now in year 5 of him doing Osomatsu and nothing else. So long as he's on board, I'm sure it'll be fine. But like I said, I feel like we've just done everything that we need to do with this series.
I mean, like, again, I know I feel like it's becoming such a broken record at this point, but like, Osomatsu-san is a great example, I think, of like why I think more comedies need to adopt a more Kaguya-sama style framework of. Again, I know I'm comparing apples and oranges here, but I mean, in some way, I think a good anime comedy, or any comedy period, any serial comedy, I think actually does need to upend the status quo on a fairly regular basis. Because
there has to be some kind of progress or change.
Right, because you need new material for jokes, right? The problem is Osomatsu-san Season 3 is going to start up, and you know what? I bet because of how that show's framework and how self-aware that show is, Episode 1 of Season 3 will probably literally be some kind of meta-commentary about how they've struggled to write new jokes because nothing ever changes, right? Like, there's still just a bunch of dirtbags living in the same house.
Yep.
And the joke will be like, oh, we gotta find new material. That's why we took so long of a break since Season 2. And, like, that'll be funny for one episode, but then they'll return back to the same status quo and the same fucking jokes, and it just
they did have the movie in between, which was that was something. That was more Osomatsu.
Right.
Like, I do think that Season 1 ending with, like, the joke about try to upend the status quo and then mean-spiritedly not doing that did work at the time, but
you can only do that so many times,
right?
Though.
Like,
right.
It's just like, I don't know. Like, I think that if nothing, like, I know Osomatsu-san is not a narrative-based comedy. I understand that, but also, like, if nothing has changed in the character dynamics since last season, like, what possible new jokes can you write at this point?
The movie did have delinquent Yakuza Jushimatsu, which was pretty good. I'll throw that out there.
That does sound all right.
I mean, I'll still watch it, but it's like, I mean, I'm not expecting anything besides more of the same in that front. And please let Yoichi Fujita do something else, like maybe a Classical Aid Season 3.
I don't know. Season 2. Look, Season 2. Poison
you still want that after Season 2?
If they got Yoichi Fujita back, I would be because he did not direct Season 2.
Season 1 was so good.
Anyway,
yep.
That pretty much does it for the returning stuff. So we can start getting into the new shows. Again, one more reminder, we're not covering everything. There's no time for all of that, so these are just some of the notable ones that we were going to talk about. And I guess we're going to take a break from anime for a second and mention that Kamen Rider Saber started.
Sure did.
By God, you hear that? It's Zig's music.
What? What's that? Is that Zig?
If this was really going to be a bit, then you should have had like the sound sample on hand. Play the Stone Cold Steve Austin music.
Just play like what's the shittiest belt jingle off Kamen Rider?
All of them.
Oh,
don't worry.
I got this. When the 5 horns cross, the golden soldier Thouser is born.
That's the best belt jingle.
Look, I was gonna say, I'm sure Gel can edit something in post. All right, it's fine.
Oh no, you guys are not putting that extra work on me. But
hello,
yes,
everyone. Hello.
But yes, we have Zig joining us for the back half here, and just in time to talk about Kamen Rider, which I know you guys wrote about. So
we did.
Check that out on the blog. But what are your guys' just quick initial impressions on that?
It seems bad.
Oh.
It's way too close to a Super Sentai show, which we already have one of, so...
Yeah, I'll elaborate a bit, First, standard disclaimer, Kamen Rider shows are 50-odd episodes long, and it's very hard to judge them from one episode, which is always incredibly formulaic, because you have to introduce the characters, you have to sell the toys, all that stuff, But tonally, this one really doesn't seem to work for me. It's a fantasy-themed one, which always... for some reason, I just don't seem to get on as well with the fantasy-themed ones, as opposed to, like, the techno-themed ones.
By fantasy-themed, do you mean, like...
Magic.
It still takes place in modern day, though, right?
Yeah, but, like, basically, like, fantasy-themed means the rider's powers are magic. Technology-themed
so
means...
Is it, like, one has a saber, and one's, like, a lancer...
And maybe one's got like a bow, or he's called the bow man.
They all have swords
with 2 swords.
Oh, they're just all swords.
We don't know because we've only seen a few of them. So far,
come on! We have seen the names of the Kamen Riders in toy spoilers, and they have names like Blades and Espada and.
Oh, they're
Caliber.
all sword guys. That's great. So which one is Katana? Because that one's going to be like the real deal.
So,
fuck.
Like related to this, I would like to point out that Kamen Rider Blades is an incredibly stupid name for a Kamen Rider, because there has already been a Kamen Rider Blade singular, and that was in fact the name of a show. He was the title character.
Whoops.
So,
all right, let's see here. I'm looking at the spoilers. We have Kamen Rider Saber, Kamen Rider Blades, Kamen Rider Espada, Kamen Rider Buster, Kamen Rider Kenzan, and Kamen Rider Caliber.
Is Kamen Rider Buster just like giant sword?
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
Just Cloud Stripe. I was gonna say that I think that actually maybe annoys me the most about that list you just listed off is only 2 of those are actual specific names for swords.
Right. That would be more interesting if it was like famous swords from history.
Yeah.
Or
like Kamen Rider,
and it would just be Token Rambu or something like that.
Kamen Rider Claymore, Kamen Rider. GN.
That's what I'm saying. Like the shared theme also makes me think about Sentai. Right, like, if they all got swords, it's just...
Right, it's not that, right, they all have the same...
I mean...
It's the same as, like, they all have dinosaurs or something like that.
What I will say is that, don't worry, because there will be more Kamen Riders by the time we're done. Like, there are always more riders.
Yep.
But I don't know, just tonally, it's very goofy. Like, and again, all these things are relatives. Like, Kamen Rider is a goofy show no matter what format it's in, because it is a kids show. But this one just seems especially like juvenile, which obviously maybe appeals to a certain demographic, but certainly not to the periphery demographic that is adults watching the show. And there is an incredibly creepy clown who seems to be acting as the narrator.
Oh my god, you're right. I forgot about him. I wiped him from my memory.
That's a hell no on that one.
I mean, Japan doesn't have the same thing with clowns, right? Like, that's...
I feel like that's got to be universal.
No, because I specifically remember, like, wasn't there like an interview with some Japanese developer, from some video game like a few years ago, where I think the Japanese, like, in the interview, like, the Japanese developer was like, we were all quite surprised by the Western reaction to the clown character. We were not aware up till now that Americans had a stereotype of fearing clowns, but
I don't know if that's a tangent we have time for today.
I know,
but
but
that's
just, I don't, like, maybe they don't have that
Interesting.
trope in Japan, so...
I mean,
yeah.
there's the G Gundam episode where Chibbity Crockett's parents were killed by a clown.
Right, but that's a little bit different, like...
Also, it was the clown character in ARMS.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes. So that was a real See, I was not imagining things.
I would like to point out that the clown in G Gundam also had a machine gun, so he was.
Yeah, that makes anyone more.
All right, I gotta stop this clown tangent. We got a lot of other shows to talk about.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we got a lot to cover.
So Saber is bad so far.
So far, yes, but with the proviso that we have only watched one episode. But like,
Okay.
it's also smothered in bad CGI, which is always kind of a bad sign because it. Firstly, it's awful. Secondly, they can't possibly keep it up because it's expensive, which means that every subsequent episode won't even get close to this one. So the net result is just kind of that, and I'm not particularly feeling the characters, and part of this is just that, sometimes shows just give you a good feeling, like with Kamen Rider 01 last year. That first episode was good, and the show wasn't perfect, but it turned out the show was good, and I've just got a bad feeling about this one, and so far it seems to be borne out. But I'm always open to having my mind changed.
Statistics are not on its side, right? As far as
most Kamen Rider shows of recent years have been bad. Like
right, back to back good Kamen Rider seems statistically.
It was much more. It was much more common in the early part of the 2000s. Like they strung together multiple good runs of shows there, but yeah, like in recent years they've really had trouble. And part of this is simply that those shows have always been toy commercials, but they have become increasingly commercialized over time. In recent years, there have been more riders with more forms, more gimmicks, more toys, more everything like that.
Now you guys are going to be Kamen Rider snobs and talk about how they've sold out. Is that where we're?
No, like you can't sell out when you started being a sellout. Like, but yeah, I mean, I get it. It's hard, but I really didn't like this first episode. All right,
well,
read our posts.
Read the post, and we'll check back in on that later. Let's get back to anime.
Right.
And from one disappointment to another here, because this is probably my biggest disappointment of the season so far.
I mean, this title sounds rad, but...
Yeah, let's talk about Hypnosis Mike, Division Rap Battle, Rhyme Anima.
Where's the hip-hop?
Oh my god.
Where is the rapping?
I have a feeling me and G are going to have a lot to say about this at least.
Yes, but, I will probably have to watch this just so I can talk about this next episode.
Hold on. Can I get a grounding here? So Hypnosis Mike is the character from My Hero Academia, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Is that his actual name, or you're just...
No, it's not. I'm just being facetious.
His power
is... His name is Rex Sounders the 13th. We all know this.
It was like President Mike or something. Anyways.
Yeah, so anyway, look, sign me up 110 times for anime rap battles.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like,
which is what this is supposed to be.
But the raps suck.
Well,
there is no rap.
Let me put it this way. This is like one of those multimedia projects, like an idol thing.
Look at the art. Look at the art and tell me, do you think there's going to be rapping in this?
I'm pulling up the art. I'm pulling up the art.
It's basically an idol show, except instead of singing, they kind of like sing in some sort of imitation of rapping.
Oh my god.
They're not even rapping.
And yeah, if you watch the trailer,
the legendary rap group, the Dirty Dog, has split up into 4 groups.
Oh well, hold on. Wait. Before we get to the premise, let me just finish. If you watch the trailer, like the only thing that sounds remotely like rap for 2 seconds is they throw a trap beat down for like 2 verses, and then but everything else is just like talk singing over like J-rock.
Oh, dude, this is like the Japanese equivalent of like this is the Japanese embodiment of like white dudes rapping, right?
Is this like the educational rap group who shows up at your elementary school?
This is like every white guy Minecraft rap on Spotify. Like this is like, oh my god, it's
and then when we get past the bad rap music, the premise made me raise an eyebrow a bit.
Oh, dude, the premise.
Okay. So
like, if you hid all the art and only showed me the premise and showed me nothing else, I'd be like,
apparently, women have taken over the world and ended war. And the only and banned and destroyed all weapons. And so now the only way
for men to fight.
The only way for men to fight is through rap battles, where they use these things called hypnosis mics, which control people's minds, apparently.
Great.
And
got it. Yep.
That's a little weird.
Dude, I fucking love the premise of you have to rap your enemies into submission. Like your beats are so fucking sick. You know, your disses are so fucking hot that their brain melts, right? It's like when Bucock shouted Fork into a coma, but like,
or if we want to bring up Classicaloid again, the Schubert rap episode.
Yeah, but like given weaponized form and like all that, I'm all here for it. I am all here for it, but
yeah, no, it's not happening. There's no way they're salvaging this after what I've seen in the trailer. So
no, no, of course not.
The only thing I'll say is that like using your raps to batter your enemy into submission is also the point of a regular rap battle. So like I'm just saying, there's nothing particularly crazy there.
Right. Well, that's why it fits so well, though. Like it's just the ridiculous anime amplification of that concept would be great, but you would need the musical chops to pull that off, and they're not even close with
I mean, it's just like, here's the thing, right? Like,
it seems way closer to like butt rock than rap.
Right, like, or generic male idol J-rock stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like the really annoying thing is like Japan has put out legitimately good hip hop before. Like it's
there are artists they could have tapped into for this if they really wanted to.
Called Lotus Juice.
A show about
Lotus
fucking
Juice.
Bring back Lotus Juice. You know, hell, like resurrect the ghost of Nujabes. I don't care what it takes. Like you can get some good hip hop, good rapping in anime. I mean, fuck, man. Like, we'll save this for the next podcast because I have some things to say about the impromptu rap session in Japan Sinks, but. There's been there's been some good rapping in Yuasa anime before, you know, like it's totally been done. It's totally like there's a precedent for it. And
I want to know about that now, but we'll save it.
And so like the thing that the whole vibe of this thing that I get is like it's kind of like a male idols thing, right? Like, is this one of those things that's like part of a multimedia idol, like actual real idol group thing?
Yeah, there's
like,
a game right. There's gonna be a game, or I think there already is a game and all that to go with it, and yeah.
So like, I don't know. So then all of a sudden that just gives me that really cynical vibe of like, you're like a flagging male idol group. We need to find you a gimmick.
Right. From the meta point of view, that might be why this exists.
Like, how many of you have rapped before, right? Is this the John Cena situation of like Vince McMahon heard that John Cena liked to freestyle, you know, in the locker rooms, and then they decided to turn that into his entire gimmick for a fair number of years.
I mean, to be fair, he did have a natural advantage in having 3 dicks, so...
I don't even want to know, but yeah, this is disappointing.
Yeah,
I think we should just move on.
I mean, I don't know if it's actually disappointing because we haven't watched a single episode.
I'm gonna put my reputation on the line and say that this is going to be a disappointment.
Well, I don't mean that there was any room for us to be disappointed in the first place because we already
if you read the premise that it sounds good, and the fact that it is not is disappointing.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Let's move along to Jujutsu Kaisen, which I think is this a Shonen Jump thing?
It is.
Yep.
It's also Sungho Park
Yep, Iro beat
yes.
me to it.
You know,
but,
the god of high school, Sung-ho Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly just mentioned it because it is Sung-ho Park, and I'm glad the dude's getting paid.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm assuming this is also going to be a fairly big deal.
Hopefully the plot of this sucks less than the god of high school.
I think
Yeah.
by process of elimination, it has to, because
Well, it's kind of like a like urban fantasy type, like modern day
Yeah,
urban
I mean,
fantasy type thing.
I regret not. I'm regret not reading
Punching
at least
demons.
a chapter or two of this for this podcast, because like
Right.
my understanding is that Jujutsu Kaisen is actually okay or pretty decent depending on who you
Sure.
ask. Like the early things I'd heard about Jujutsu Kaisen were that well, before some unfortunate things that happened in the last couple months, Jujutsu Kaisen was lumped in with Act Age and Chainsaw Man as sort of like the promising new generation of Shonen Jump manga. Like,
Right.
because those three all got serialized around roughly the same time, right? And so everybody was kind of pointing at those
Right.
three of like, see, look at Weekly Shonen Jump, it's diversifying, like it's you know, they're bringing up some like legitimate new talent. And I mean, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but you know, in terms of who's still left at Shonen Jump, but I've never read it, so I'm literally speaking purely from, you know, secondhand accounts here. So I mean, we could watch the first episode of this thing. This thing could be fucking awful, but I am
Probably have good fights though.
I am curious about it
Hopefully.
because yeah, like, you know,
Yeah.
Sung-ho Park. He's our golden boy here at the GLORIO blog, and we just want to see him, you know, flourish and succeed.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm glad the guy's getting paid. So, at least I hope he is. But
Yeah, well,
It's
I don't
Mappa,
know.
so...
I mean, well, you know, Mappa's where he, you know, he cut his teeth originally, right?
True.
So, you know, maybe there will be drifting horses in this anime too.
God.
all right. Let's move along
Uh-huh.
to Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai.
Hooray. I guess
I did
as the guy here who has played a Dragon Quest game...
Hey, I played Dragon Quest 8.
Fine. This guy who has most recently played a Dragon Quest game.
Yes, that's acceptable.
I guess I'm the de facto Dragon Quest guy.
Well,
here.
well, I did a little bit of research on it, but I don't know if you know anything
It
about
was a
this
Shonen Jump
specifically.
manga.
Right.
written by
and this is old though.
Yeah,
this is like going
written-
back like 20 years
Like
or
the
something.
80s, 90s. It was
Right.
written by Riku Sanjo, who is known for doing lots of toku shows and such.
Good ones, too.
Yeah.
But but this is not like an adaptation of any of the games. It's like its own story, right? Is
yeah,
that
the manga
what I
is
was
its
getting?
own story.
Yeah. So this was back in like late 90s, early 2000s, and I think there was an anime of it
Yes.
around that time as well.
But the manga had not finished at that point. So the
Right.
anime has an anime original ending and all
This
that.
sure looks like a Toriyama adjacent character.
I mean, if we want to get into like the weird history of like the weird intertie between Shonen Jump, Toriyama, and Dragon Quest, we can do that. But
No, I don't think we have time for that. But...
well,
I
you
mean,
see,
it-
Yuji Horii, the director creator of Dragon Quest, was
all right, so tell
formerly
me,
a columnist at Shonen Jump.
is there any reason we should care about this, or?
Riku Sanjo's a good writer. He has written shows that I enjoy.
I do not believe he is writing this anime, but
Oh,
he
okay,
did do the
well,
source. He wrote the source material.
yeah.
I see.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to sort of capture the magic of Dragon Quest in it. So like
Good luck.
if they can pull that off, then that might be appealing to some people.
So it's going to be an anime about grinding for 20 hours?
Yes. About playing a spreadsheet with graphics on it. But
My understanding
Yeah.
is this manga is like considered kind of like a cult classic in Japan. Like that
okay.
Jump Forces game added the protagonist in.
right. Yeah, I mean there has to be some reason they're reviving it, 20 plus years later, right? So I'm sure there are people looking forward to it, and I guess if you're into Dragon Quest, I hate sounding so dismissive about it personally.
Hey,
but
Dragon Quest
Look,
11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition is pretty good.
Look, for better or worse, the West has never really cared for Dragon Quest in the same way
true.
Japan does. Like, we look at that
Right.
and we're like, Where's the airships? Where's the Magitech?
Yeah, we definitely took more to Final Fantasy over here for sure.
I would be interested if they do the standard Dragon Quest thing and have the dub have everybody be extremely British.
Oh, that would be very
like
funny.
Violently British.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles tier dubbing.
That would be pretty good. All right. Moving along, Iwa Kakeru Sport Climbing Girls. I put this on the list to call you out, G, but if you'd like to fall on your own sword,
Wow.
Just fucking out me here on this podcast.
I'll give you the opportunity to fall on your own sword.
All
if you
right,
like
always happy to fucking always happy to self-sabotage myself publicly.
No, this is an
Getting
anime
caught
about
with your pants up and then you just take them down.
yeah, exactly.
This is an anime about some girls in fantastic shape doing rock climbing.
Oh yes.
And the trailer looked pretty intense, I have to say, once they got into the climbing parts.
I mean, I don't know. I was like, I mean, for better or worse, I mean, okay, like all joking aside, like I would totally watch like an anime that is totally serious about rock climbing because I love anime about extremely niche, specific hobbies, but I don't know, man. Like I suspect this is probably going to be another Don Baru of like the artist is just drawn with their dick out half the time and like,
Yeah,
these girls got very defined backs and arms, which I am, like I'm all here for it, but like, is there actually more to it?
I think that the only way something like this works is if you play it so deadly serious it becomes funny, like I think Keijo did.
I think it might be moving in that direction. First of all, let me just add to my statement that watching the trailer also makes it very clear what the point of this anime is, the way the camera works and everything on it. But once they start getting into like the actual climbing, it gets like super intense. Like there's one like the girl's like leaping for the next hold on the rock climbing wall, and like a panther appears behind her and stuff like that. And it's like
that's the kind of stuff I want.
Yeah,
sure,
so if they lean hard into that direction, it could actually probably be pretty fun. Like, like you mentioned, Keijo being the biggest example of that. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm sorry, G.
No, it's
I didn't
fine,
mean to sabotage you on that one, but it's good
man,
radio.
Like, I ain't gonna front here. I'll probably watch the first episode and, with my finger on the screen cap hotkey, but like, look, that's what Don Baru was, okay? So like
Yeah, we gotta do first looks, so I'm sure we'll check it out. All right, let's move along to Ikebukuro Westgate Park.
What is this?
This is actually one of two anime that Doga Kobo is doing this season.
Great.
Oh, good.
The other one I didn't mention because that's kind of more their wheelhouse. It's about some like
it's about a pedophile.
No, but it's like cute anime girls that all have purple hair and whatnot. But this one is I guess maybe resurrecting manga from the late 90s to early 2000s is also going to be a thing they do now after
is that
Sing Yesterday for Me. So this is like, and this is about like some dude getting tied up in some like gang nonsense. Some like street gang nonsense.
Is his name Kiryu Kazuma?
He does not appear to be a Kiryu Kazuma situation, but
tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think of this watching the trailer. First of all, this appeared to be pretty popular because like it actually got like it actually had like a live action series and stuff like that with it. But that was 20 years ago. And I can't pin down what kind of show this actually is going to be from the trailer. It does not appear to be, gritty, street gang wars, people fist fighting in the streets type of deal, at least not from the trailer. But I don't really know exactly what tone it's going for, but just on premise alone, it kind of intrigues me.
I feel like if it's Doga Kobo, it either has to become a goofy comedy or like a tortured romantic story, or preferably both.
I'm looking at this PV now, and I guess the thing that definitely sticks out to me is, this is one of those, like, the whole cast are varying degrees of pretty men kind of show. Like,
yeah,
definitely
these
the
are not
vibe
like
I'm getting.
This is not gritty street fights.
No, because when you
type
said
of
like,
thing.
I mean, look, man, Ikebukuro has a certain reputation amongst the anime viewing audience just because of the number of anime about that place, and
Right.
so I was totally in on like, oh, all right, we're gonna get some anime street fights. Like, I'm all here for it, but looking at this, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't know what they're going for. I don't know if it's just that the premise was intriguing enough.
Also, I'm not
that
gonna
I'm
lie,
gonna
looking
at
at this
least
TV,
check it out.
I feel like if you swap the titles with this and the rap battles one, I might not have noticed. Like, I
Well,
feel like these have the same general, like, overarching, like.
That might be a little harsh. I mean,
Alright,
they have
you know,
at least
So,
they have at least
yeah.
have normal. They at least have normal human clones.
Apparently,
Fine,
the rap
fine.
thing takes place in Ikebukuro, so
Right, so, okay, that must have been why I got confused, because I was looking at these things, I was like, these are both kind of fall into the same general arc of, like, scare quotes, urban adjacent, like, fiction, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe this one will have hip-hop.
I mean, this is from late '90s, early 2000s, the
anything,
golden era of
it's-
hip hop. So
Yeah,
yes.
fair enough.
I would point out that the late 90s and early 2000s is not the golden age of hip hop, but it is the golden age of rap rock.
We can't litigate this right now. Like,
Not yeah. We don't have time for that discussion. But
Like,
anyway,
I am loading bullets into my take gun, and I need to put this away.
I'm more interested in this one than the other Dogakobo show.
Sure,
So
sure.
We'll,
I mean, I'll...
we'll see how that goes. They did do. I'll just say, at least from a technical standpoint, they did a very good job on Sing Yesterday for me. Which, if this is the same team, which I
sure.
suspect it might be, then it will probably at least look good.
Well, I'll give this a first episode, if nothing else, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I still feel like there is enough cachet in the Dogakobo name to at least make me
Is there?
interested in having a look.
Well, they've never dropped off on technical quality.
No.
It's just that the adaptations that they've been doing have been hot garbage for the most part.
It's their moral quality that continues to fail us.
We're happy if they should just do a show that doesn't have pedophiles in it. Like, that's how low the bar is.
I mean, I thought Sing Yesterday to me was interesting, but like the quality of the source material was not very good, so I don't necessarily hold that against them.
Right. Well, I mean, they primarily do adaptations, so
Yes.
I don't know how much. I mean, I'm assuming they have some control of what they choose to adapt to. So I mean,
You got to pay the bills, keep the lights on, you know.
yeah. But yeah, we'll see on that one. All right, let's move on to the third of the big three Crunchyroll original webtoon adaptations.
Another one of these fuckers.
So, yep, this is the one I've actually heard of before, which is Noblesse.
I think it got an anime a few years ago. Is why.
Yeah, it might have gotten an anime or something. But this is the one with the big Crunchyroll backing on it and everything.
I mean, the thing I will say is that Crunchyroll so far have backed some pretty like commercially successful projects. Artistically, but like,
I think this might end up being bigger than the biggest one of the three that the webtoon ones that they've chosen to adapt, because this is this was like a huge. Well, I mean, God of High School was huge too, but
The
this is,
difference
like, really-
between Noblesse, God of High School, and Tower of God is Noblesse is actually finished.
yes, so that the original webtoon thing is actually finished on this.
Man, I'm gonna need
But,
to get a confirmation on this because I'm looking at the information here, and one of the characters is listed as Frankenstein. But is that
Yes.
Frankenstein or Frankenstein's
No.
monster? We need confirmation.
Neither one.
What?
But
actually, it's
Dude
pronounced
named-
Frankenstein.
oh god. So this is how would I explain it? This is about a
Pretty Boy Vampires.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
kind of, yeah. But
One of
it's
those.
like the main guy was like, I guess he was a noble like hundreds of years ago, and then he comes back to the modern day, and Frankenstein is his assistant who is working at a high school, and he like goes to high school to try to acclimate to modern life, and then he gets tied up in battle shonen hijinks.
He goes to high school.
Yeah, it's yeah, and this one. The tone feels a little more serious to me than the other two, but and also I think it's, well, let's just say there's a lot of very attractive men in suits, which attracts a certain crowd as well. But yeah, I think this one, because the source is so popular, I have a feeling this one is going to also be a pretty big deal. But whether it'll be good or not, the track record on these have not been great.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have Sunko Park, so how do we know it's going to even look good?
Yeah, I feel like, and I hate to make general broad statements here, but I feel like the webtoon things have been mostly like, I'm trying not to make bad general statements here, but like I feel like they've just been like imitating classic Japanese manga rather than like feeling like their own thing.
They've certainly felt derivative to a certain extent. I don't think that that's, prejudiced. I think that's the truth.
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
sure.
I'm sure there's actually, look, like with any medium, I bet there are some legitimately great webtoons out there. I mean, there has to be, right? Like, sheer volume means that there are probably some real winners. It's just
and
that,
also,
right,
it's a young
adapted,
medium.
Yeah.
It's a young medium that's still growing.
Just the popular ones that have made it to the top have given me that impression of what I've seen of them.
One thing I need to say is that reading this premise, all I can think of is, like, the ending of Castlevania Lords of Shadow. And, like...
Kalzobek.
Yes, and the premise of the beginning of the second game, which is, Gabriel, you gotta learn how to live in the modern day. And now I'm just imagining the protagonist of Castlevania Lords of Shadow being told, you gotta pretend to be a regular, normal high school student.
I mean, that might have been a more interesting game than Lords of Shadow 2.
No, it probably definitely would. I would have definitely have played the version of that is... Gabriel has to pretend to be just turn Lords of Shadow 2 into Persona, right? And it's just pretending to attend high school.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Zobek pretends to be your dad.
God. Wish Patrick Stewart was my dad.
He's everybody's dad.
We've gone way too deep on the references on this podcast, but anyway, let's move along to talk about Adachi and Shinamura. This actually looks like it might be alright. This is like a actual Yuri genre adaptation.
Okay.
The art's pretty.
About girls falling in love while they play ping pong and other things.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's a ping pong anime.
Yeah, I don't know how much that factors in. I tried to do a little bit of research, but that seemed to be one of the things that they bond over. It looks more, I guess, maybe lighthearted and kind of like, not like overly cute, but like just kind of like more of like a laid back sort of vibe than something like, say, Bloom Into You, which was more, I think,
dramatic,
intense, more directly addressing the sexual tension in the room, that kind of thing. I could be entirely wrong. I'm just basing this off of what I've looked up and what I've seen in the trailer, which is fine. I mean,
I'm watching this trailer, and there's a tiny astronaut character.
Yeah, there's a tiny astronaut. I don't know what's up with that.
Asking for donuts.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? It kind of almost makes me think of Amanchu.
Wow, that's a dunk. That's a hella dunk on Amanchu.
Well, I mean, that kind of mood is what I'm talking about. I don't know whether it'll be good or not, but and also, I don't know how good Amanju actually ended up being.
Okay, look, that's a whole other discussion.
But yeah, I'm just saying the tone of it made me think of that a little bit. But whether or not it'll be good or not, we'll see. Let's go on to the next show. Taiso Samurai.
Alright, this is the Mappa desperately trying to recapture the Yuri on Ice.
Guys, you liked Yuri on Ice, right? Everybody loves Yuri on Ice. Please come back.
Except this time they don't have Sayo Yamamoto,
right,
which is
so
a big...
It's like, why
She's still working on the movie? Like,
God, is that still happening?
No, I think the movie was last year.
I thought it was delayed.
Or maybe it got delayed. I don't know. But that's the last thing I heard of her working on. So
I feel like I would have noticed if that movie had come out.
Yeah, I feel like we would have heard a lot
so
more.
It was indefinitely delayed last year.
Indefinitely?
Huh.
Man, that's not promising.
Well, I guess point is she's not working on this one. But this is... I think it's probably easy to say they're trying to do Yuri on Ice, but gymnastics this time. I don't know if well, first of all, obviously it's if they don't have Sayo Yamamoto, that's a huge blow to the show in general. This is the Zombieland Saga team working on this one.
Interesting.
So it's probably not going to look as good then. But I don't know. I was reading up a little bit. The main guy is actually he's like older. He's like it said it was like 29. He's like about to retire, and he has a kid. He has like a daughter and stuff. So it might be a different tone.
I mean,
isn't that way too old to be doing gymnastics?
Well,
that's the point. That's the point. Is like
operates on the same rules as anime, where once you hit 30, you're a decrepit old man who should just retire already.
So he was like basically gonna quit, and then like he decides to give it one more run or something. So it might be a little bit of a different vibe, but we'll have to see on that one. It is very easy to frame it that way though, as hey, we gotta capture that magic again, considering how well they did with
that's kind of the weird thing with this one, because like I look at its premise, I look at its presentation, and I'm like, this might be solid, like I could see myself getting into this, but like without the but it's also so blatantly trying to recreate the magic of Yuri on Ice, but without like any of the key people associated with it, that it's hard for me to like know it. Like, how much of this is like, oh yeah, this looks genuinely good, and how much of this is, oh yeah, you're like aping a lot of the things that worked with the other like popular famous thing that you're trying to evoke here.
Right.
The other like weird notable thing I'll also point out is like this premise is about. Well, the premise is the story set in the year 2002 in the once powerful Japanese men gymnastics team. I will, however, point out that during the 2000 Sydney Summer Olympics, Japan did not hit the podium in any of the gymnastics events it entered. So,
is that?
I don't know how all-powerful they were.
I'm not going to ask why you know that, but that's interesting. Yeah,
I used to really love watching the gymnastics at the Olympics. I kind of still do. It's one of my favorite events to watch, just because it's like, just gymnastics is kind of cool. Just watching these sheer.
No, yeah, I watched some of it. I watched some of it when the Olympics comes up. Yeah,
right. Like I mean, it stemmed from the same place for why I love kung fu movies and hell, even anime. Right, is like watching people move in ways that you or I could never hope to in a million years.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like gymnastics, anime, and what was the third one? Sorry.
Oh, I said kung fu movies.
Oh yeah, gymnastics, anime, and kung fu. They all share, a very intense focus on physicality, and in all of them, it's perfectly legal to put your fist through a man's heart. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite gymnastics event for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'll check it out. And for the record, I mean, I liked Yuri on Ice. I mean, I think we maybe had varying degrees on that, but I liked
it a lot. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we all, like, to varying degrees, all thought very highly of Yuri on Ice, and so I think that cachet is going to be what convinces all of us to at least check out the first couple of episodes. I think we're just all in that place of, like, how is that enough to convince us to stick with the whole thing?
Right. And I mean, because of the context of it, whether it was intentional or not, it's going to get that comparison, I think, but we'll see how it goes. All right, one more show on the list here. The Day I Became God. So apparently this is a thing now where every 5 years, PA Works teams up with visual novel company Key.
Wow! You could not have said a single fucking sentence that would make me less interested in whatever is about to follow.
Starting in 2010 with Angel Beats, which was fine.
I like Angel Beats.
Then in 2015 they did Charlotte, which was trash, and now in 2020 they're doing the Day I Became God.
Wow, we've got 2 for 2 trash so far. We'll get the hat trick.
Hey! There were parts of Angel Beats that were pretty good.
I liked Angel Beats. I thought it was
Angel Beats was good.
And PK was the shit.
Yeah, like, clarification, I am, like, perhaps the person in the universe who most hates Key adaptations. Like, I think Clannad is absolute trash. So.
I will defend Clannad and Clannad After Story for all eternity. But anyway, with this one, it's a very key setup. This guy meets this tiny girl who claims to be God during his summer vacation and says the world is going to end in 30 days. And she convinces him that she actually is God, so they try to live out his final 30 days enjoying his life over his summer vacation.
That is a key-ass premise.
I was going to say, I can already see where the really obvious emotional gut punches are coming from here.
They sure love their countdown timers. If you recall Charlotte, the whole hook was that Charlotte was a robot that had a lifespan of however many years, and her time was about to end.
Wasn't that Plastic Memories?
Oh, sorry, Plastic Memories. Yeah,
that's not
my
key.
bad. I'm getting them mixed up. Nope, never mind. Charlotte's something different.
Whoops.
Wow.
Boy, Plastic Memories. Remember that one?
Christ.
Well, Plastic Memories is a different show. But that who actually did that though? I don't know. Whatever. There's some reason I made that connection in my brain. But anyway, Charlotte.
I'm
actually,
looking up Charlotte.
I don't even remember the plot of Charlotte.
Can we talk
now.
about the show that's actually airing next season?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So, point is, it's a premise designed for tragedy, which is what the hallmark of any key.
It's what
work.
Jun Maeda loves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab the mic and say Jun Maeda is a fucking hack.
I don't think anyone will stop you.
Yeah,
keep going if you want it.
My take on Jun Maeda is he did what he wanted to accomplish with Clannad After Story, and everything else has been trying to chase that again, but just worse versions of it. I will just say, though, I'm at least glad Jun Maeda is still alive, because that was...
Okay, sure.
That was a thing a couple years ago where they announced that in, a major bout of dramatic irony that he had a rare heart disease and needed a heart transplant.
I did not know this, so...
Yes, he actually has not been heard from in the past 4 to 5 years and came back.
I will only say this because currently he seems alive and well, but...
I don't know if he's out of the woods or if this is his last.
There were a lot
project,
of jokes. There were a lot of jokes about this flying at the time because of.
I would like to clarify that, when we say people are hacks or we hate them, we don't actually wish harm on them unless
no, of course not.
Unless they are Toshihiki Inoue who can die in a fire. But
yes,
no.
I mean we don't have anything personal against Jun Maeda, and of course, but So
the perfect world, Jun Maeda is allowed to make an anime like this every 5 years for the rest of his life.
Right. So I hope he's doing well and he got his heart transplant or whatever. We don't really know. All we know is that he's at least emerged again to work on this project. So
to be clear, I just do not like any key work.
No,
yes.
I think that's a totally fair take to have.
We've established that for sure. But I just wanted to mention it because I think that's a notable project.
It probably is. It probably will be.
A lot of people like those key adaptations, and if this is another one of those, a lot of people will like it, I suspect.
I'm just over here wondering, PA Works, where's Shirobako 2, you sons of bitches?
Did the movie ever come out?
The movie did come out. I just haven't had the time to get around to it yet.
All right. Well,
I will have to watch that one solo. So
that's still pretty hot off the press. So
I feel like the movie did pretty well, but
I think it did, yes, but I just have not gotten around to it.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Not Shirobako 2. Where's Sakura Quest 2 or whatever? I don't know. Whatever.
So is the Jaeger 2.
Whatever is their next show about tired women in their 20s trying to come to terms with the career choices they've made in their life.
Honestly, after probably Ranman, I don't trust them doing anything else at this point.
God, that was PA Works. God damn.
Yep.
That's, fuck it.
Also them. I think they're also doing that show with the girls fishing.
That's Dogakobo.
Was that them?
Oh no, that's Dogakobo. Yeah. Man, I need to end this episode because my brain is off right now.
Should we get into the last bit of new things?
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the new shows. Just a couple things we want to mention here. To Your Eternity, which is an adaptation I know you guys were looking forward to, was supposed to happen this season, but they delayed it last minute.
Yeah, too
so
bad.
that's been delayed to April 2021.
Yeah, this would have been... again, it's an adaptation, so hard to really judge it, but I think the early take for those of us who are familiar with To Your Eternity, we're all saying, this next season's looking pretty bad, but at least we have To Your Eternity.
Yep.
So losing that has definitely put a damper on I think, our interest in this upcoming season.
I do really enjoy that manga, or at least the parts of the manga that would have been adapted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I am approaching To Your Eternity from the same direction that I approached like the inevitable Promised Neverland season 2. In that, I bet season 1 of To Your Eternity is gonna be really fucking good.
Yeah, they confirmed it's only 20 episodes. Probably.
Oh, it's one of those situations. Huh?
Well, like there would, because of how the arcs in that manga are, like that's the right decision.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's still a shame. Yeah, I mean, look, if they delayed it, like I'm sure they had good reasons to delay it so last minute. Makes me really wonder, like,
what happened.
Right, because I feel like usually you can tell when something's not coming together pretty early on.
I mean, we all know the delays are probably coming from COVID, and different studios have been handling it differently, and maybe they were trying to get it together and waiting as long as possible before it. It's
just like they were just posting like trailers for coming next season like a week ago.
Yeah, like there was a new PV like just to
right. So they might have been trying to like get it. They're probably trying to get it last minute, and just as far as they could push it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think.
But if that were the case, it's kind of weird that they would then go to April and not January. But
I mean, maybe that's. I mean, I think maybe once they just. I cannot speak to this.
Or maybe there was no space in January to move it to.
Yeah, that's probably my bet.
Yeah, I suspect it's probably a scheduling thing, right? Because with these kind of delays, right, it's suddenly like, well, what show were you planning to air next season, right? It's
right, you can't just magically open up space to broadcast.
I mean, hey, if that means that To Your Eternity has a lot of time to get really polished up, I mean, this is all wishful thinking, of course. Like that would be
brain space, so it could be it's a real hit or miss on that.
Right, I mean, I was going to say it's brain space, so maybe they need all the fucking time they can get their hands on.
I didn't know,
but
I didn't even know Brainspace still existed.
Yeah, I was.
What's the last thing they've done?
I was also surprised by that when.
I couldn't even tell you, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Inspector.
Inspector, I was gonna say, yeah.
Inspector was good. I enjoyed Inspector.
But the Brainspace in 2020 is not the.
Inspector was a primo Brainspace tier show.
the Brainspace we know in 2020 is not the Brainspace of like 2010 though. Like a lot of
they all migrated to Shuka.
Right. Has Shuka done anything recently?
Banana Fish?
I don't know.
No, that wasn't them.
No, I don't think that was them.
Who was the studio who did Sarazanmai?
That was...
That was Mappa.
But like Mappa didn't do any like.
Oh,
Mappa
they didn't actually
infamously
do anything,
didn't
though, right?
do anything, right?
Right. Wasn't it like a new studio though?
Possibly.
With that,
I'm just trying to keep track of the trail of bodies that Ikebukuro has left behind him.
What studio will he sink next? Yeah. All right, and then finally, I just want to mention personally the Grand Blues anime, which is the comedy spin-off manga adaptation of Grand Blue Fantasy.
It's like their Carnival Phantasm, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like their version of Carnival Phantasm. Although, the more I'm thinking about it, it may have more in common with like a Pop Team Epic style of absurdity to it.
Okay.
But you wouldn't really understand it if you didn't play the game. That's the problem.
Well, then that's a problem.
But like the type of like kind of quick hits of humor that are also kind of sinister, that kind of thing. Is probably, it might be a little more in line with that. Maybe somewhere in between. Is
this a full-length show or a short? Or...
So first of all, I'm insulted that none of the top anime chart sites that I was checking even listed it, including like we typically use anychart.net. Shout out to them. I think there's another, like, was it livecharts.me or something is another big one. There's a couple of them. But first of all, they didn't even bother listing it, which I did not like. And I've heard that it might be a short, but I have not confirmed that. When it was originally announced, they were hyping it up like it's a full-length thing, but I guess we'll see.
Well, Joe, I'll look forward to your weekly recaps where you try to, like, first...
I'll break down every single reference.
You'll break down the joke by explaining the reference to us ahead of time, and then giving us the play-by-play...
and then it'll be completely unfunny.
Exactly. Nonetheless, I do look forward to that segment.
Well, I should point out, it is still airing. It's not like it got canceled or anything, so I'm still looking forward to it. But I hope it's actually like a real production and not just like shorts they throw up on YouTube or something.
What studio is doing it?
I
assume it's not Mappa or whoever.
No, it was. I don't remember. It was something tied pretty close to the publisher of Grand Blue Fantasy,
sure.
And, like the manga. It wasn't like one of the big name studios.
Do Games not just have an in-house anime production team at this point?
They do though. Right?
They do. Yeah, they do actually, and they also have close ties with Mappa, obviously, who did the last Grand Blue Fantasy anime. Unfortunately, they didn't do a great job.
Wait, I'm getting it mixed up again. Who did the good season?
A1 did the good season.
A1 did the good
season. Mappa did the bad one, right?
Okay,
yeah, Mappa did the bad season. Yeah.
I mean, A1 is a top tier studio for a top tier property. Let's put it.
But like Mappa did, Rage of Bahamut, which is Psy Games,
right?
And for for better or worse, that one season of Rage of Bahamut.
Yeah, it was good.
You mean the only season of Rage of Bahamut?
And they never did any more after that.
I keep sitting here saying, boy, I would love a season 2 of Rage of Bahamut. You know, I mean, just imagine all the cool adventures that Kaisar and Favreau would have gone on. Like,
wasn't there a season 3?
So there was the boob lesbian dragon.
Yeah, that was they completely dropped the Rage of Bahamut on that.
That got delayed for several years, and then
it came out
eventually came out Manaria Friends.
Yeah,
and it was insanely popular because, of course, it was.
Which, ironically, is probably closer tied to Grand Blue Fantasy now than anything, because that's actually a Grand Blue Fantasy sub-story. But
everything Psy Games makes gets folded into the Grand Blue cinematic universe.
Right. Well, it's like, yes, the Psy Games expanded universe. They all share characters and stories and everything. But anyway, I am actually looking forward to that, and I hope it's a legitimate production and not some just garbage shorts they throw up on YouTube.
Speaking of Pop Team Epic, by the way, sometime in October, Gal and Dino will resume, and we will see the final result of the epic battle between Shota Aoi and the evil landlady.
Well,
is that coming
Dino
back?
burned the book, so I don't know. Is he going to come back?
Sure, they burned his time travel book.
They burned the time travel book, so I don't know.
Well, that's another show that I quit watching, so I'll look forward to listening to you guys explain to me these jokes.
I will actually resume watching it, because I think they were pretty deep into it when they postponed it. Yeah, so there's probably only like 4 episodes left or something. So shout out to Gal and Dino, I guess. All right. So that's going to do it for this preview podcast. We'll get back to... We had it easy on the first looks last season with hardly any shows, but we're going to be back to business as usual, I guess, with this one.
Yeah.
Don't
get too excited, guys.
Don't sound so excited, guys.
Maybe I'll have to bust out my new comparative anime feature again.
Yeah, we'll see how bad it gets, but anyway, housekeeping stuff. Check us out at theglorioblog.com, where we actually wrote posts since last episode. I know you guys had a couple posts on Kamen Rider and
there's a wrap up of 01 and a first look at Saber.
Right. So check those out. I actually wrote about the recent Grand Blue Fantasy OVA, which I think is a good bridge to the upcoming anime, because it's also kind of silly, but it's still within the universe of the normal Grand Blue Fantasy anime. So check that out, and we'll have first looks for all of this stuff once that starts airing in about 2 or 3 weeks. Follow us on Twitter at the GLORIO blog. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean. You can like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. We're getting close to that 100 subscribers, so get on that, people, if you haven't yet.
Smash that notification button.
Smash that notification bell. Tell your friends, tell your enemies.
Especially tell your enemies.
Yes, they all count the same to us. And that'll do it. Catch you all next time.